I'm Dr. Rachel Griffiths. I'm with my father and partner in aquatics.
Dr. Tom Griffiths.
Welcome to the Drowning Files, where each week we share a lawsuit we've been involved in or another true story with suggestions to learn from these tragedies to save lives. What case do you have today?
Today I have another tragic drowning, and this is a double drowning. I've had a recent rash of court settlements, so I have new cases that we can talk about, and this one was a huge one. Let me try to accurately illustrate the swimming pool where the incident took place because it's a little bit different. This was a high school swimming pool, and it was a long L-shaped pool. And at the end of the racing course, which was the majority of the pool, was a separate diving well. And this, at the end of the racing course, they had a bulkhead which could be set at 25 yards or 25 meters. And the night of the incident, the bulkhead where you could walk across, a movable bulkhead, was set up for a 25-yard course, which is shorter than 25 meters, as you know. So in this case, it was families swimming at night, and three children. They were playing in the lane number one, closest to the locker room. And two boys and a girl were playing in the water for quite some time, and lap swimmers in lane two had seen them playing in the water. And what happened as we pieced this all together was that the two boys who could not swim and the sister who could not swim, all three could not swim. The parents left them off at the pool for this family night of swimming, and the pool was guarded. The young girl, who was the youngest, got out of the pool to get dressed and went to the showers. She left her brother in the swimming pool. When she came back, she could not find her brother. She didn't know where they went. So this is what happened. The two boys got out of the shallow end of the pool, the lap lane pool, from lane one, got up on the deck, walked down to the deep end of the pool where the diving well was, and it was 14 feet deep. Now, the diving well was closed to swimmers, supposedly, but there were no signs, there were no stanchions, there was no yellow tape to keep people out. And just prior to the family swim, they were conducting a lifeguard class in the diving well. Again, flat bottom, 14 feet deep. When these boys got to the bulkhead, on the diving well side of the bulkhead, there is now a shelf. It's the bottom of the swimming pool, and it presents shallow water right next to the diving well because the bulkhead was set at 25 yards. They crossed the bulkhead and entered the water, entered the diving well where the shelf was only 4 feet tall, and there was no buoyant lifeline separating the edge of this shallow water shelf from the deep water. There were no warnings. There was no guard posted. There was nothing. Somehow, some way, the boys entered the diving well. They sank to the bottom. A lifeguard was notified that they were drowning there. He went to the diving well and did not respond. He just panicked. He didn't do anything. And one of the people who was swimming laps heard the commotion, what was going on, dove in and got one of the victims off the bottom of the pool. And then one of the instructors or administrators for the aquatic program came to the diving well and got the other boy off the bottom, and they both drowned. And in this case, the parents were notified. They came to the facility, and the horrible thing to watch was the video with sound where these people who couldn't speak English were trying to understand what went wrong when they left their two boys there to swim at a lifeguarded facility. Now, this was a large pool, deep water diving pool, a racing course, lap lanes set up for lap swimming, and then a shallow water section of the pool. So it was an L-shaped pool, but it was very large. Could have, should have had at least 3 lifeguards on duty, and there were only 1, which made this course even worse, this case even worse, was that a young woman who was supposed to be on duty told the police that she helped to make the rescue and assisted in the resuscitation efforts, and she never even was at the pool. She was in the office on her phone. So she lied, and there was a lot of misstatement by the people who were there. All of this was captured on the police video, which they told the police while they were being video recorded and audio recorded. And then when their depositions were taken, of course, they had to say, yeah, I wasn't telling the truth. So this case was settled before trial, but in a rare case, the media was told how much the settlement was for. And the settlement in this case was to the parents for $26 million. And so it was a horrible case. The facility did so many things wrong, but probably the most important thing they did wrong, Rachel, was they didn't cordon off that diving well. They said it was closed, but they didn't tell anyone. They didn't do anything to close it off. There was no signage. There were no warning cones or tapes. And they were inadequately guarded with certified lifeguards. They only had 1 lifeguard on the pool deck at the time of the incident. 1 or 2, and the other one would have been in the shallow end. So that's this horrible case that I have for you that just recently settled a few weeks ago.